Hello, my name is Dave Burton. I'm the VP of Marketing at Guardicore. Good to be here at Security Field Day. In my session, I'm going to be covering a little bit about Guardicore, the company, the problem we're solving, and our approach to solve that problem. First, a little bit about the company. Guardicore is a data center and cloud security company, and we focus mainly on microsegmentation, which I don't think is a new term for a lot of the people in this room. But our approach to microsegmentation is around securing our customers' most critical assets and doing that in a way that's as simple and intuitive as possible. And I think you'll be seeing some of that in the technology we're presenting to you later today. We were founded in 2013. We first came to market in late 2015 with a data center security product. And since then, we've been enjoying solid growth, over 240% year-over-year growth the past 2 years. Our customers represent not only large banks and financial institutions, but also across different vertical industries, including technology companies, healthcare, communications companies, retail, the typical ones you would hear about in terms of security spending and having critical assets that need innovative security products. We've also, in addition to our Tel Aviv headquarters, where R&D and our main headquarters is, we have offices based in Boston and San Francisco in the US, and other offices in Europe. So we've expanded our global presence. We have customers over 5 different continents now, and we continue to grow in different areas as we grow our business. Let's talk a little bit about the problem that we're solving. Simply put, we're solving the problem about an increased attack surface in a hybrid data center. And when I say a hybrid data center, I mean a combination of on-prem, private cloud, and public cloud infrastructure. And let's face it, at this point, most of the data center infrastructures look like this. More workloads are moving to public cloud, but not everything's moving off-prem. So you have this hybrid situation. In addition, there's an increase in that attack surface because you've got new application delivery models like containers. We see more containers being delivered out there today in these environments. That's putting more pressure on the IT security teams to keep up with that pace of change and a new model for application delivery. In addition, with this transformation that's been happening, legacy systems still remain important. Critical business applications are running partly or wholly on legacy systems. So now we have a situation, we have a data center that's from legacy, bare metal, virtualized, cloud-based infrastructures that has an increasing attack surface, limited visibility in some cases for IT security teams, and increased risk. But how do we know this? Security research shows, over multiple research reports, dwell time is usually at or above 200 days on average. So dwell time being the time it takes to detect an attacker from when they initially breached a system. At the same time, the breakout time, so the time it takes for an attacker once they breach an initial system to compromise another one, is less than 2 hours. This gives an attacker ample time to move laterally inside a data center to achieve their objective, whether that's stealing confidential information, valuable customer information, or even establishing botnets within the data center environment to leverage those resources for things like crypto mining. So what do we do about this? Well, the usual strategy is build a bigger wall. It's what people have been doing for a long time. Let me give you a spoiler alert. Walls don't always work. In fact, many organizations have built very strong perimeters around their data center infrastructure, including firewalls, intrusion detection, prevention systems, and the like. But they've treated the internal traffic as more of a trust zone, so the east-west traffic within there, and not as many controls typically exist there because it was more about application uptime, availability, making sure the good stuff got through, and not about putting those controls in place. But that is changing as organizations are starting to move to more of a zero-trust model and using microsegmentation as a means to make the inside of the data center as secure as the perimeter. So we think that security architecture think more like shipbuilders. And this is a great analogy for microsegmentation and is really at the crux of the issue. Ships assume they're going to be breached. Why shouldn't data centers? So what shipbuilders do is they build compartments. So in the IT world, this is isolating applications, separating different network segments, creating smaller compartments, if you will, so when the inevitable comes that a breach actually does happen, it's more difficult for that attacker to move more laterally, and you're minimizing the damage so your security teams can then follow up and remediate accordingly. So what does Guardicore do to help with this? So we developed a product called the Guardicore Centrist security platform. It's an integrated system that at its core provides a software-defined way to do segmentation and microsegmentation. But it all starts with deep visibility. Any segmentation or microsegmentation project requires a great understanding of what you actually have in your environment. So we map this all out down to the process level. So the applications, the network flows, the assets, the workloads, so that the IT organization can have a good understanding of what are the communication flows between those critical applications, and then how to apply that security policy accordingly to reduce that attack surface or isolate certain systems from other parts of the network. The other thing that we do, we think is core, is we use an agent-based approach to segmentation. There are other microsegmentation products out on the market that either use a network-based approach or they're hypervisor-based. We use an agent-based approach mainly because there's a few good benefits that come from it. One of the main ones being it's platform agnostic, meaning that we are completely separate from the underlying infrastructure. The agents can be deployed anywhere. So think about those legacy systems or on out-of-date OSs or bare metal servers or virtual servers or even in public cloud. Guardicore can go anywhere with its agents and get the visibility and then enforce the policy accordingly. The other thing that makes us different in terms of our approach on the agents is we, instead of orchestrating and enforcing policy on the OS host-based firewalls like Windows Firewall or Linux IP tables, we built our own firewall enforcement module as part of our agent. We'll go into more detail on the architecture of that a little bit later. But the advantage of that is it allows us to have consistency policy enforcement at the process level, so process to process level rules on both Windows and Linux environments. And our customers believe this level of consistency for policy enforcement is important. Another thing I want to point out in terms of our platform, and again, we'll be doing the deep dive in a second, is we can go in any environment and we're friendly with the ecosystem. And there'll be other examples you'll see in the later sessions about this. One example, however, I'll relate back to visibility and asset classification, which is extremely important for microsegmentation. We can tie into existing orchestration systems to pull that data in to assist the IT teams to classify the assets on the terms and the data that they already know. So they're seeing a view of their world in terms of their asset classification on data that they already understand. This makes it quite flexible and much more easier to move to asset classification and ultimately policy enforcement. And last but not least, I want to highlight that it's not just about microsegmentation. It's great when you have been breached and you can contain that breach and have your security team sort of race and mitigate that situation. But we have built in as part of our product other integrated detection and response controls, such as reputation-based detection, deception techniques to track and monitor what an attacker might be doing if they're looking to target and attack your systems, and provide rich data and automated responses behind that.